can send this out just in case anyone wants to look back and at this presentation. Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Ashley Prince. I am the Assistant Director for Student Services, and on here tonight with me is Kate Hoban. She is our Academic Advisor. Most of you have probably had interaction with her, helping you get registered, sending you things to get started in the program. A lot of what we'll review tonight is some repetitive things from what she sent you, just to make sure that you are aware of everything that has to do with the MBA degree and the requirements, different things like that. Feel free that if you have questions, you can type them in the chat, raise your hand, and then of course at the end we'll have time for questions and answers, anything like that. And so we'll just go ahead and get started. Oh, did my presentation unshare? I thought I had it shared at first. Maybe it went away. Okay.
It was shared. It went away.
Okay.
Perfect.
Maybe I accidentally did that. Sorry, guys. Okay. Is it good now? Okay, perfect. Awesome. Okay. So first we'll get started with just going over general degree requirements. MBA degree core classes is worth 32 semester credit hours. So you'll see on the list here all of the classes that are required. The only one I'll really highlight is the international management class in the core is a flexible core option. And so you have 4 different classes that are eligible to be used in that place. And so they're all listed here for you to review, but you just need one of them to be able to complete that requirement. All the other classes are really set for you, but that one gives you a little bit of leeway in picking which one really matches where you're going in your lane. And then, of course, we have 21 semester credit hours of electives within the MBA. So most students start with their core classes and then slowly begin to start taking electives along with core classes and then finish out the program. Electives are where you can kind of, pick a concentration. You can really dive deeper into an area you're more interested in, maybe, business analytics or marketing or finance, whatever really matches what you're wanting to do with your career. And it's very broad because the MBA allows you the ability to really take classes from any area that's offered in JSOM. And the list is here. You'll see the titles of the different areas, and then the little prefixes at the end in parentheses are what the classes are listed under whenever you go to sign up for classes. And when you're taking electives, just keep in mind that you can't take more than 12 credit hours of electives. That's about 4 classes in more than one area. All right, and then now let's talk about concentration. So concentration, as I mentioned before, is established within your electives. And so if you want to say concentrate in finance, then you'll want to take 9 to 12 credit hours of finance electives in order to obtain that concentration. Concentrations in our program are informal, so they're not going to be printed anywhere on your transcript or diploma. That is an official document you're going to get from the university, but they will be able to be used on your LinkedIn, on your resume for marketability. Whenever your employers are looking at all your stuff, they're going to see, that you have a concentration in a certain area. Maybe that's something they're looking for in the certain job field that you're looking at. So it's super helpful in that area. We also have students that choose not to do a concentration. Maybe you just want to take a class from all different areas, or you want to take a few classes here and a few classes there. That's totally fine. It's completely up to you. This is kind of your journey, and you kind of make it what you want it to be. And if you do want to do a concentration, feel free to reach out to us if you want to chat about that. If you want to understand, if I want to do this concentration, what is that, what classes should I take? Or if you want to do a concentration in, say, finance or business analytics, and you want more feedback about specific things you want to learn within those areas, it's great to reach out to some of the individual programs to get feedback on that. They'll have more information that can be helpful to you just because they're the ones that are teaching the classes and coordinating that course content. And so we try to give you resources and all kinds of things to help you be prepared to pick that concentration if you choose to do so. And then we also have academic certificates. So these are similar to a concentration, but it's an actual separate program that just dually counts within your MBA program. So we have some of our concentrations like the organizational behavior area. It has less class offerings that are not within these certificate programs. So maybe you want to go into HR or you want to take leadership classes. These certificates are perfect for those things. You can apply separately to the certificate program, and if you're accepted, you can take the classes within that certificate program, and they'll dually count as electives within the MBA. So if you receive both the MBA and you complete the classes for the certificate, at the end, you'll be presented with a degree for the MBA and then also a separate certificate for that program. And so it can really help to boost your marketability in those specific areas. And I've heard the classes are really amazing from the students that have been in those programs. There are a few other ways to obtain elective credit in the MBA degree. So one of those ways is through independent study. So that's partnering with a faculty member. It has to be a full-time or tenured faculty member. And really to just do a project or a research or something like that. Maybe you're analyzing data. It may be a project that they already have that they're working on, or it could be something that you want to do and you've met a faculty member that you feel would be perfect for you guys to work together on something. And it can be taken for up to 3 credit hours of elective coursework. And so it must be approved by our office, of course. So if you choose to go this path, you would just work with our office and we could guide you on how to work with the faculty member and get their approval. And then also we'll have to get approval from our senior associate dean. But it's something that not a lot of students, I would say just a handful of students do this maybe each semester, but it is beneficial for those that find themselves in those situations wanting to do those projects. And then we also have international trips. So this semester, in this spring, on spring break, our MBA students are taking a trip to Dublin, Ireland. And so we plan to do a trip every spring from now moving forward. And so hopefully if during your program you want to attend and go on one of those trips, that you'll have the opportunity to do that. Typically, it's different places every time that the trips are taken. So it won't necessarily be Ireland next time, but it could be somewhere else fun. And, you get to go with all of your MBA peers. And our assistant dean of the program, she also goes on the trip. So it's a super fun experience for those that want to do that. And it can be taken for up to 3 credit hours of elective coursework as well. Okay. Now let's talk about internships. So internships are not required for the MBA program, but you are allowed to take up to 3 credit hours worth of internship for the degree, and that would count as elective credit. So there's a link here. We'll be sending out this presentation, but there's a link in this presentation that goes over all the rules, all the things about how many hours you have to work in your internship to get how many credit hours or different things like that, the requirements. And so you'll want to review those if that's something you're interested in doing. But you can get up to 3 credit hours of work through the MBA. If you choose to add an MS also, you can also do 3 credit hours worth for the MS program, which would give you a total of 6 hours for internship credit if you chose to do both degrees. And then our last option is in-company internship. So this is for those of you that are working full-time professionally. Maybe you're working at a company and you want to branch out and do a project that's beyond your scope of your regular duties within your job. And so what you can do is we have a cycle for the in-company internships. They do a fall spring cycle. So you do 1 credit hour the fall semester and 2 credit hours in the spring. And each of those cycles, we have new cohorts, I guess you would call it, of students that do the in-company internship. And you can apply to be part of that. And we'll have more information as we get closer to the time of accepting applications for that. But it is something, if you're willing to put in the work and you feel like it would push you forward at your company to do an extra project above and beyond your work duties, this is a great way to earn elective credit while doing that. Okay, double degree opportunities. So we do have master's degrees that you can pair with the MBA in the Jindal School. So there's several different master's programs, anything from accounting to business analytics, marketing. There's a long list of them. And some of those are STEM designated as well, if that is meaningful to you. You can explore here at the link at the bottom of the screen all the master's degree programs, what they entail, what their classes are, different things like that. If you are interested in doing that, I suggest exploring that probably within the first year of being in the program. That way you just kind of know a path going forward, how to plan that. It does require a total of 63 credit hours minimum to graduate with both degrees. And you also must have 27 unique credit hours to the MBA. So your 63 makes up 36 for the master's degree and then 27 unique for the MBA. And of course, we help you work all that out as you go through the program if that's what you end up doing. So I don't want you to worry about that now, but just so you know, the MBA alone is 53 credit hours. And so doing both is 63. So you really, if it is beneficial for you, then it makes sense to go ahead and do them together. All right. So let's talk about what you can do to be prepared moving forward, how you can be prepared for this educational experience. So first of all, there's a link here to an important documents folder, which was probably also in your onboarding email that you received. There's an MBA handbook in there. There's all kinds of resources and different things. It's possible that we'll add different things throughout your time in the program as resources into that place. And so it's always good to just make that a favorite. That way you can access it at any time, especially during registration time when you may be needing information about how do I look at a schedule, or how do I decide what my electives are, or how many credit hours was the limit again? I mean, we get those questions all the time. So this is a great way for you to be able to have that just, right there with you whenever you're trying to plan those things out. And then, of course, a link to the academic calendar, super important to have all the dates lined out for each semester. So make sure you refer to that. And then all of our policy page, graduate catalog, all those things, they're not exactly like the content you just want to go read every day. But I do encourage all of you to make sure you know what is going on, what the program requirements are, and everything like that, to make sure you don't end up in a situation where you were supposed to know something and then you ended up not being aware. And then make sure you use your UT Dallas email when you're corresponding with our office. So with myself or Kate or anyone in our office, really, if you're requesting for something to be done, if you're wanting to register for a class, you want to drop a class, if you want to ask for a degree audit or something, then you're going to have to be emailing from your UT Dallas email. And really, the primary reason for that is just security and private, in making sure that everything that you do here is held in the highest regard for privacy. And then for our programs office, we have many things that we do to try to keep you guys in the loop and keep you involved. And so one of those things is our weekly email. It's very important that you make sure that at some point in the week you are reading that Monday email. It'll come out typically on Monday afternoons from Kate. And it has we try to send everything in one email. We try not to bombard you guys with, multiple emails throughout the week. We try to compile it all into one email so you can easily get in there, review the things you need to know, and then move on with your day or your week. Just make sure that you're making time a priority it takes just a few minutes just to read through that email and just make sure you know what's going on. And then make sure you are getting involved if you want to with our MBA events, whether that be career events or social events or different things like that. If you want to make the most of this experience, if you want to meet your peers and network with them, then be involved and attend those events. We try to be a lot of fun and have really cool and awesome events. And so if you're able to make it, it makes it such a better experience for you and to be able to meet those people and network. And then, of course, our office provides guidance on classes and registration, concentration, adding an MS, faculty or class issues. I mean, there's various other things, of course, that we provide, but these are some of the primary ones. I'll tell you, faculty and class issues, we can't always fix any issues that you have, but what we can do is, based on our experience with other students and situations that we've experienced, give you the best advice we can on how to handle situations with the faculty or with, peers, or with a team. Maybe you're having difficulty with a team in one of your classes. Also, don't be scared to reach out to your faculty members. We have so many students that they come rushing to us and we're like, did you talk to your faculty member? and ask if they were willing to make an exception or do this or do that, and the answer is no. And so a lot of times whenever you guys come to us, the first thing we'll ask is talk to your professor first, because I know it can be really intimidating sometimes, but they really are nice people. They're human too, and so they understand life happens, and a lot of times they're willing to help you in ways maybe you thought they wouldn't. And so just reach out, send that email. And of course, we're here to help you with anything else. Here's contact information for Kate, as she's your primary advisor for this program. And then just, make sure you're prepared. If you want to make an academic advising appointment and you want to talk about your goals or what classes to take or different things like that, just make sure you're prepared for your meeting. Come into it kind of having an idea of, oh, I want to go this way, or I want advice on this, or have your questions lined out. That makes it easier for us to be able to help you and be prepared for the meetings. And so it's just super helpful if you guys can, give an outline for us or type notes whenever you make a meeting and tell us kind of what you're wanting to do. It helps us give you the best experience. And then, of course, we have office hours. If some of you are on campus for classes, feel free to stop by our office. We're open 8 to 5:30 Monday through Thursday, and then 8 to 5 on Friday. And then we do have a study lounge that's connected to our office. So if any of you are on campus and you're wanting to study at any time, whether it's when we're open or not, that study lounge is always open there. And then here's a couple of registration reminders. This will be a good thing to reflect back on whenever you're registering for your next semester. The registrar will assign enrollment appointments for each long semester, so that's fall and spring. And enrollment appointment, what that means, it's not a real appointment. It's not something you have to meet someone for. It's just a day and time that you'll begin registering for the next semester. So the typical thing is they'll release the schedule, and they'll also release enrollment appointment times to students at the same time. And then a few weeks later, registration will actually start. And so you'll have time to know your enrollment appointment time and review the schedule before enrollment actually begins. And I encourage each of you to be on top of your registration for the next semester. I cannot stress that enough, that you need to be prepared. If you know what classes you want to take, put them in your shopping cart and be ready to go when you're at your enrollment appointment time. There's a lot of students in the Jindal School, a lot of students in the MBA program. So if you want to make sure you get the classes that you want, then I suggest that you be prepared at that time. And then, of course, you'll register for courses through Orion Student Center and Galaxy. I'm sure most of you did that this semester. And so it'll be the same process each semester. And then, of course, if you have issues registering through Orion, we're always here to help. Send us an email from your UT Dallas email. Make sure you're specific. If you email us and you say, I have a problem with registration, we need you to be more specific. Send us a screenshot of the error you're getting, or give us specific details about the class you want to register for so we can help you in that moment. If we have to try to dig the information out from you, then it just causes a delay, and sometimes maybe you miss a seat in a class or something like that. So when you email, try to be very specific about your need and about how we can help you. And then, of course, there's registration videos here. So if you are unfamiliar or you're struggling to figure out how to use the Orion Student Center and add classes or drop classes, different things like that, be sure to watch those videos. Those can be helpful in learning how to navigate. And then Coursebook is a super helpful tool when the schedule is released. It's available in the Orion Student Center portal, but it's also available in Coursebook. You can't actually register through Coursebook, but it is a super helpful tool in terms of doing a holistic search of classes. Maybe you're wanting to specifically look at online classes in accounting. You can filter that better in Coursebook than you can Orion. Coursebook also lets you go back to past semesters and look at classes that were offered previously. And you could look at the syllabus for those classes or different things like that. Tools that would help you to determine, do I want to take this class in the future? It also helps with determining when classes are offered. You're trying to schedule out maybe 2 years worth of classes. Go back and look in course book at what was offered in summer of 22 to see what might be offered in summer 23. It's usually about 95% accurate, which is about as good as you're going to get in that type of a situation. And so it really can help if you are a planner and you want to sit down and kind of, sketch out a pencil in some plans for the future. Okay, and here's some tips for reading the graduate catalog, since I understand that it is a large document that can be very overwhelming. Make sure that you're familiar with the degree plan for the MBA in the catalog. It has listed out our core classes, what the elective requirements are, all that good stuff. But here's some specific things when you're looking at certain courses in the catalog, how they may appear, or different things that you may see that you may not understand. So here you see the example of the cross-listed course, where there's a course listed and then another course in parentheses. That's a cross-listed course. So it's the very same course. It's just listed under different areas because typically the content is crossing between multiple areas. It doesn't matter which prefix you register under, it is going to be the very same class. It's very same content. And so it's just helpful to know that we've had students register for a class under one cross list, and then in another semester register under a different cross list and not realize it's the same exact course. And so please don't make that mistake, because we wouldn't want you to repeat the same class, not realizing that that's actually what it was. And then course prerequisites and co-requisites. So you want to make sure you're familiar with that. Prerequisites mean you have to take the class before you take the next class. And then co-requisites mean you can take the class in the same semester as the next class, or you can take the pre-co-requisite before, in a previous semester. I know that's a little bit confusing. I do recommend you be careful when taking co-requisites in the same semester, because if you say you're doing really well in one of the classes but not the other, it could mean that you end up having to drop both because one is a co-requisite to another. And so it can cause some issues there. But just be mindful of that. Also keep in mind that there are prerequisites and co-requisites within the core of the MBA. So, for example, accounting and statistics have to be taken before financial management, or statistics has to be taken before or with operations management. So some of those you really need to be mindful of. Okay, I need to take this at the beginning of my program versus, this class can be towards the end, or whatever the situation may be. It may be helpful to create a spreadsheet. These are my core classes and these are their prerequisites, to make sure you know exactly how you need to line those out. If you do that and you just put in the time to make those plans, it can help you be a lot more successful and plan a lot better when it comes to registration time. And then the last thing here is the understanding of course frequency. Like I said, you can go back and forth to course book and see what was offered in the past, but in the catalog, there are these keys, the letter keys that kind of tell you this class is offered every semester, or it's offered only once a year, or maybe every 2 years. And then the ones that say offered based on student interest and instructor availability, those are really just when as needed, as they have interest. And if you see a class that has that you're wanting to take, I recommend reaching out to the area that class falls under to ask if they have any intention of offering that class in the next, year or two, or anything like that. That way you can get an idea of if you should depend on putting that class as one of your maybes in your schedule, or something like that in your tentative schedule. We don't have a lot of classes like that, but there are a few. All right. I know Dr. Powell heavily talked about plagiarism, cheating, collusion, different things like that in her presentation before this, but I do want to hit on it again. She is absolutely right that we've had situations just over the past semester and year that have taken students to be dismissed, or to drop a letter grade, or to fail a class because of mistakes that they made with plagiarism or academic dishonesty. And so I want you to be very careful about making sure you understand the rules, making sure you're following them. And I don't say that to scare you. I just say that to say, things happen. And there are situations that I've seen where students are in unfortunate situations that they probably never saw themselves being in due to not understanding the policies and the rules. And so make sure that you understand. There are resources. Ask your professor. Go to the writing lab in JSOM and ask how they can help you with making sure that you're in line with the rules. Use those resources. All right, and ultimately, we want you to get to graduation. That's the whole point here. We're going to help you throughout the program to make it and walk across that stage. So there's a couple of different things that you can do to make sure that that happens. Number one is make sure that you are showing up and participating in class. Whether that means you are participating in in-person classes and you're coming on campus, or maybe you're just taking online classes, but make sure that you're participating in the discussions or different things like that within your class, that you're actually putting yourself in there and enjoying this learning experience and making the most of it. And then, of course, GPA requirements. You must have a 3.0 or above in your core degree and cumulative GPA. We provide a degree audit for each student in the program, and we update those throughout the program with, your grades for each semester, which will help to calculate your GPA. You will have access to get that degree audit at any point in time. Once we share it with you, it's shared with you throughout the program. You can ask questions about it if you have questions about degree audits, if you just need to go in there to use it as a planning tool to schedule your classes for the next semester. Be sure that you're using it. And then, of course, the GPAs, all three of them will be listed on that degree audit. And so you'll be able to keep track of that throughout the time in the program. And then, of course, we encourage you to not end up on academic probation, which is less than a 3.0 in your overall GPA. And so the things that can happen as a result of you being on academic probation are you could lose scholarship or financial aid eligibility. You could not be able to do the internship you wanted to do because you're on probation. There's different things that can happen that are unfortunate that we never want to have to tell a student, no, you can't count this internship for credit, or it gets to the point where you've done 3 semesters on probation and you're dismissed. Unfortunately, that does happen to a few students. And so I don't want any of you to end up in that situation. So be sure that you are doing your best to stay in academic good standing. Now, with that said, if you do end up on academic probation, Kate and I will be here to help you to create a plan to make sure we can get back on track. And I want all of you to know that if that does happen, we will have to have a real conversation about how you can be successful and what classes to take to help you to be successful. So be sure that if that does happen, that you are trusting that what we're trying to do with you is help you to be successful. We're not trying to be mean and put holds on your account or be mean and not let you register for certain classes. We truly are trying to, based on our experience with tons and tons of students, hundreds, thousands, that we want to be able to do what's right for you and to make you successful in this program. And then course repeats. So you have up to 3 course repeats. You can only repeat 1 course 1 time. So say you failed 3 classes, you could repeat those 3 classes, but you would only be able to repeat those 3 classes. And so that's for your entire graduate career. And so most of you will not have to repeat any classes, but it is there just in case, because we all know that life happens, things happen, and sometimes that's what we have to do. And then courses expire 72 months after they're taken. And so your timeline for the 72 months begins now, unless you've taken any graduate courses that you're counting towards your degree before this point. If you have previously done a master's degree and you choose to transfer in courses from another university, your 72 months will start whenever you took your first class that you were transferring in for this degree. And so just make sure you keep that in mind. Most of you will not be here for 6 years, and we're happy about that. We want you to get your degree and go on and do awesome things and become a great alumni. But you do have that window of 6 years, 72 months to be able to get your degree. And then, of course, repeated here, but don't take more than 12 credit hours in a single area within your electives. All right. And lastly, here's just a few tips on how to make your experience what it is. A lot of times, the MBA people throughout your journey, you're here for a couple of years. So you end up becoming family with some of the people that you're going through classes with, or you're stopping by our office and we get to know you. And we always love that. And so I say, talk with your faculty, make friends with your peers. Ask if you don't understand. If you have questions, feel free to stop by our office or send us an email or make an appointment so that we can help you out. We want to help you make the most of this experience, and we really are here to support you. And then we have our Monday emails that, of course, we encourage you to read. And then our current student LinkedIn group. Once I send this presentation out, you'll have a link to that you can go in and join. And there will be all kinds of other current students that are maybe they're in their second or third semester, or maybe they're almost to graduation. But it'll be a place where you can connect with other people in the program. And then, of course, MBA events also are a way for you to connect with other students in the program. You can get in there and network with some of them, make friends with some of them, create study groups, all kinds of things. And so make the most of that. And then, of course, student organizations. If you find that you want to do consulting, or we have a national women's MBA student group, then those are great groups for you to join to, meet other people, and then also, attend their events or do different things with them to get involved. And that's it for us. That's all the housekeeping stuff and all the basic things we just wanted to run through tonight. But we're happy to answer any questions that you guys have.
I've been waiting to hit send on that.
Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. So Fiona Hunter she is the career contact person for all professional MBA students. So if you are in this session, you are a professional MBA student, and she is your point of contact. So she runs all kinds of sessions and different things like that. She's also available to make an appointment with one-on-one, and to like he said, to do resume review, to help you to understand, I want to pivot to this career. What do I need to do that with my MBA? All kinds of different things. So yes, please take advantage of that.
Yeah, and as a bonus for anybody that's interested in the accounting world, she told me that she worked at PricewaterhouseCoopers, I think, as a human resources director or something like that. So I'm in accounting geared towards student, right? So she and I had some things to talk about that were pretty fun.
Awesome. Yeah, she's a great person, and she does have that corporate experience, which makes her knowledge really helpful. Okay, I see someone raise their hand. Paco, did you have a question?
Yes, I did. Well, actually, I do. So for us who are like remote students, right? E-learning resources, right? I went to their website. They have some good resources for students. Is there anything particular to the MBA program that I should be aware of that is not part of those? We have a like any sort of help documentation, or how do the teachers will actually communicate better with us? Is it done via email, or it's up to each one of the professors how to communicate? So a little bit more information about that.
Yeah. So I would say for the classes that you have, it's going to be individual per professor. They typically, I think, in their syllabus notate, if you want to get to me quicker, reach out via e-learning, like message me within that, or send me an email, or different. They'll kind of tell you this is the best way to communicate with me, or attend my office hours at this time if you want to have one-on, FaceTime with me. They should outline those things in your syllabus, so that you can really connect with them in the best way for them in particular.
And are all of the materials going to be available through e-learning, or is there any other platform that we're going to be communicating in terms of videos and materials in general, right? Because we don't have meeting times for this, for the online sessions, right? So is everything going to be published through there, or is it going to be Teams based? How is it going to be done?
Sure. So, right, if you're in a regular online class that doesn't have a meeting time, then yeah, it's all kind of on e-learning. They'll put the syllabus out and they'll say, this is the outline of the whole semester. If there are other platforms or different things that they use as part of the class, they should let you know that in the syllabus. I think most of them tend to use just e-learning, and then you'll submit all your stuff through there. Like if you want to meet with your team or something, like if they assign teams within the class for projects, you can do that on Microsoft Teams. That's provided to every student at the university, Microsoft Teams access. But if it's any kind of textbook or any other resources that you need, they should outline that for you for the specific class.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Other questions? Okay, I see one. It says, do I still need to attend the in-person orientation on 119? Tell me which in-person orientation that is. I don't think we have another orientation for the Jindal School on the 19th. So I kind of need a little more specifics about which orientation. Other questions?
Yes, I think I can answer that. It looks like it's the new graduate student orientation. It's on Thursday the 19th from 4 to 6.
Is it for the university as a whole, or does it say the Jindal School?
The university as a whole.
Okay. I don't know that that's required of you. I think it's really up to you. If you want to attend, you can. I'm sure they give you some resources and things the university has to offer, maybe different from what we have just in the Jindal School orientation. But it's really up to you if you want to attend. Okay. I noticed that there isn't a syllabus yet for one of my 2 classes. Is there an expectation for the timeline on those being fully available, or is it just by the start of class? So typically it's by the first day of class. If you want to email the professor, there's no issue with you going ahead to email the professor and say, hi, I'm starting your class next week. Is there any chance that you already have a syllabus available for me to review? And maybe they'll say, yes, here you go, and attach it for you. Or maybe they'll say, I'm planning to post it on Monday. And so be looking for it. But if you want to reach out to the professor directly, that's totally fine. But typically they do have it posted by the first day of class, which is next Tuesday, since Monday is a holiday. You're welcome. You guys are too easy. No more questions? I see someone typing. Okay. Well, I'm going to let you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. If you have no more questions, of course, our contact information is on the website. And I'm sure you've already communicated with Kate more than myself, of course, but reach out if you guys need anything. If you have questions, if there's any way that we can guide you, just feel free to reach out, and we look forward to getting to know you. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all have a good one.